have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? I hope you've had a fairly good sort of a Friday and your weekend is looking up and on the good side too. In Queensland, if you're not aware, it is a long weekend. I'll be honest, I wasn't aware. Not until I walked into the post office this afternoon and saw a sign up saying they were going to be closed on Monday. So, woohoo, it's a party for Charles, I believe, on Monday, the King's holiday, as if we don't get enough bullshit. Although it's nice to have a long weekend later in the year, I guess, for those folks who are into long weekends. Certainly the roads are absolute bedlam and crammed full of dickheads, so just be very careful if you are floating out there. And no, I'm not ending the show on that note, but it is one of those times on the roads in Queensland where you want to be very, very careful or leave at unusual times. It'll make you travel that little bit faster, I suspect. There's a few interesting things that are happening around the world at the moment, but tonight, for the most part, we're going to be talking about something that is a little bit close to my heart and has become very close to many of you who are watching, and many of you who I suspect would like to be involved but can't for various financial reasons. Tonight, we're going to tell a story about somebody who's made some terrific sacrifices so that they could explore the potential benefits of Lifewave X39 patches. And I've got Tim Dwyer coming on to join us as well. But before we get into that, I want to bring your attention to a magnificent article written by a fellow by the name of Gerard Holland. Now, the Australian has been running a few things from the Page Research Centre that Gerard is the CEO of. Now, they do a lot of research. They're a conservative-backed organisation that do a huge amount of research into where the money comes from for all green initiatives in this country. And can I tell you, where they have discovered the money comes from, and it's boundless money. There is, $75 million in the account, and there is one organisation behind it called the Sunrise Project. If you want to go and have a look at their website, sunriseproject.org is the place you can go and check it out. That group is one of the biggest lobbying groups in the country and is well backed by some of the biggest businesses in the country who stand to profit the most from renewables. And the waste in it is absolutely staggering. Now, I've tried to get Jared on for tonight, but he was unable. He's got a couple of little kids, so we're going to have to pre-record something one day next week. At this stage, it looks like it'll be Thursday before he can fit me in. So be looking out for that interview coming up next week on The Voice of Freedom. Very much looking forward to getting a bit of an eye and an ear, rather, and learning further about where all this money is coming from that has corrupted our society. They've certainly corrupted the fossil fuel industry, and that's what their target has been, to degrade fossil fuel and the gas industry in this country to a point where Australia becomes dependent on this renewable crap that isn't terribly renewable. You know, those big fans that keep catching fire and collapsing and falling down, they don't just disappear. They've got to be taken away, carted away. Something's got to be rebuilt. Or if they come down permanently, what do you do with the 200 plus tons of cement that's buried in your paddock for each one? There's a lot of questions to be asked, but hopefully we'll get some of those answers one day next week. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat tonight. I think Vince is sitting in the background and will be looking after any comments tonight. So thank you to him for popping his head in. He may have to pop out. I think he may have meetings or other things happening. Lovely Rachel was first in the house tonight. And the hunt for Red October starts again. I know, I was fighting about it in the title when I was putting it all together. Red October, again. Well, it is October, and I guess the theme runs true, hey? The hunt for Red October continues. Let's hope it is this October. And if you're into the gold and silver markets, you're probably starting to get some pretty positive indications that it just could be true. It just could be happening. Silver right now sitting at, hang on, let me just refresh it. It's been a minute. So 71.76, 71.72 at the moment, standing at Ainsley Bullion. I have noticed that there is a little bit of a difference if you go to Perth Mint between the two. It's only a matter of cents or a few dollars in gold, but I think that's got something to do with the amount of times they update per minute or that kind of thing. So I got a bit excited saying, oh, why is the spot price different? But that's it. There's just a delay in when they read the times. So the predictions that I made that silver was going to hit $73 by Saturday and maybe stay there. Well, it didn't stay there, but it certainly hit $73 and looks like it's hovering around 72 by tomorrow morning. Who knows? It might be back over 73. It might be back, closer to 70 and a half. I've seen it there in the last few days as well. So ainsleyBullion.com.au, they have a live spot price running there across the top. And of course, if you want to buy, you can do so online. That locks your price down there and then. And when they walk in Monday morning, they fill your order and it will be sent to you securely. We, have the same sort of process with our Byron Bobs. And for those folks who are waiting on their orders, I am simply waiting on some more of these so that I can fulfill them. And they're arriving public holiday Monday. So I'll expect to have them Tuesday. So I'll go in and spend an hour in the post office. I'll get them there and I'll fill them there and I'll post them there. So hopefully they'll be out to you Tuesday if the things arrive Tuesday. If not, I'm sure they'll be here by Wednesday. And I will send the remaining of these that I have. In fact, I've got to go and get some more. I'm nearly, I think, out of the Byron Bobs that I have with me. So I may well shoot to Ainsley in Brisbane, catch up with Michael and the team there briefly, and pick up a few more so that we can keep filling these out for you folks. Thank you for those folks who are buying these. $130 if you want. They've got 10 absolutely stunning 1/10 of an ounce silver Bobs, Byron Bobs or Ainsley rounds, depending on what you want to call them. But each one of those, I haven't looked, but around, if not just over, $10 each. Let me see. Byron Bobs. $10.12 each at the moment, each one of those. So a couple of those, you've got yourself breakfast at a reasonable place and a coffee with it. And there are plenty of places in Byron Bay that'll help you out with that. But there are many other businesses, maybe you're one of them, that will be quite happy to take a Byron Bob. Now, 1/10 is great. It's worth $10, but there are Byron Bobs in half ounce and full ounce. And of course, a full ounce is worth, $78 odd at the moment if you're going to buy one. So worth buying, worth having, worth using, and worth taking if you are a business holder, because that bit of silver is going to appreciate where the little bit of plastic that you get handed over and they call money, the IOU that they give you, well, that's only going to depreciate. It's not going to be worth anything to you. So I would commend the Byron Bobs to you very, very highly, particularly if the ATMs go out, the power goes out, and there is this big revaluation that Red October promises to bring us. And the revaluation could well be sooner rather than later. US silver is only at 31. 47 I'm looking at it at the moment. And I was listening to a podcast the other day where it was saying they're looking at $50 US per ounce for silver as the breakthrough point for them. It's the closest it has been in history to it. So I don't think 31 is the way it is. But anyway, it's possible. Who knows? It seems strange that the price would be so cheap in America versus Australia, and particularly as you can look up the price on Ainsley Bullion in US dollars as well if you want. And the spot price is $47.36 in US dollars. In Australian, $71.72, which accounts for our dollar being at 66.04 cents to their dollar. The gold-silver ratio sitting at 81.2. That's slightly up on what I've seen it earlier this week, but that might have been when it was over $73. AinsleyBullion.com.au. Poke your head in there, and if you're looking for any amount of bullion, whether it be gold, silver, platinum, palladium. There's all sorts of interesting things that you can invest in precious metals, and Ainsley Bullion will be able to help you out with that. And ainsley.bullion.com.au, use my name or use the Voice of Freedom, and they will look after you. Paul says silver back to 72.60. Righto. We're all looking at different things, but 73 late last night. I reckon it'll go to 73 before the end of the weekend, or the end of trading, which will be late or early tomorrow morning our time, I think. So keep an eye on that. It's going to be very interesting. Also very interesting is the Lifewave. Well, it's a business if you want to get involved in it that way. If it's not a business for you, then it can be something that changes your life, just simply because it takes pain away, it helps sleep better, and in many cases takes ailments that have seized up your body over the years and turns them into not so much of a hindrance anymore. It doesn't happen for everybody, but it certainly happens to a lot of the people I know. And the bloke who put them on to me while I was having one of these migraines one day while we were addressing a couple of hundred people in a park in Adelaide is Tim Dwyer. I can't thank you enough for introducing me to these Lifewave patches, buddy, because they changed my life when it comes to medication. I don't take Panadol, so thankfully I'm not likely to get pregnant and have an autistic child. But I don't take any of that sort of stuff. And when I've particularly been having back and neck issues in the last couple of weeks, I get this horrible pain. Left eye closes over. I put a patch on. 10 minutes later, I don't have any pain. It is absolutely staggering. It works for me like that every time. And I'm very low on the pain scale of things. We've helped many more people with much greater pain, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Mate, we certainly have. And hang on, I've got a bit of an echo happening here somewhere, have I?
That's me, mate. I'll turn down the speaker, which decided to come to life.
Yeah, look, it is interesting. A lot of people joined us in Lifewave early on and either used a month's supply or whatever, and then left the system, and that's fine. That's entirely their choice. But when you look at this, a lot of the times our body didn't get into the state that it got into overnight. It took years to get us into this situation where we have aches and pains. We abused our body, we was young blokes and all this sort of stuff, and it all catches up with us. And one of the things that we've just recently seen, I've seen a guy who had his knee, the meniscus had gone from his knee.
Yeah.
And he regrew the meniscus in 6 months.
Wow.
With the patches. Now, there's no way you can regrow the meniscus in your knee. But with the patch, it is. Now, people go, oh yeah, but it's so bloody expensive. Well, it's $5.85 a day, I think it works out at, right?
Yeah.
And one of the ladies, I think I spoke about her before, she had both kidney problems and a pacemaker in her heart. And she actually got onto the patches for back pain. And the pain went away, but then the pain came back. But she kept on with the patches, not realizing that the patches were actually repairing her kidneys that were heading for stage 4 and repairing her heart to the point where the pacemaker hardly has to do any work at all. And so what it boiled down, and she worked it out, that it cost her for the about $2,000 over that period of time for the patches, right, for the 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And in doing that, she said there's no amount of money that you could throw at your heart to repair your heart and to repair your kidneys to get them back functioning without, and she said it is the cheapest prevention or medicine process she had ever heard of. And, that's an interesting way to look at it if you look at it purely on a dollar basis. And so what she started, now that she's got all that, she started sharing it. Now, she's not making a fortune, right? But she's getting about $300 a month back at the moment. So, it is, it's an
It's an
amazing
extra
product.
$300 a month that's, you're not going to get.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
From any other source.
Yeah. Now,
well,
we've got
sorry,
another
keep
bloke.
going.
Yeah, we got another bloke, I think, who wants to say a few words about what's going on.
Yeah, I was going to bring him in. So let me tell the story. I got an email earlier this week, and I do get emails, regularly from people who say that, thanks, Carl, for sending me a patch. I've sent out, I don't know how many patches. Usually when somebody rings or sends me an email and says, look, I'd love to try them, I can't afford them, I'll send 2 and say, look, if they work for you, they do. You'll know pretty much if you've got the sort of issues that can be affected in 24 hours or 48 hours, you'll know if you feel better or if you're sleeping better or whatever, and you can make a decision from that point. But some of those folks have taken me up on that offer, and I, like I say, I get magnificent emails from them saying, oh yeah, look, I'm sleeping better, or I've lost this rash, or all sorts of things. My arthritis isn't playing up. But I got an email this week from a gentleman called Scotty T, and Scott's been in contact. We were actually meant to meet up while he was traveling up through Queensland, I think, a little while ago. He's back down in Victoria these days, but Scott's email moved me to a point where I was going to read it tonight, and he wanted me to forward it on to Tim and make sure Tim saw it. So we were talking this morning, and Tim was as amazed as I was at the email, and he said, well, why don't we get him on to talk about it? And I thought, oh, okay, well, so here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together for Scott. Thanks for joining us on The Voice of Freedom, mate. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. No, something's gone wrong. Can't hear you.
Microphone's not on, Scott.
That's going to make a dramatic telling of the story even more dramatic.
Turn up your volume.
Yeah, I'm turning that up.
Oh, can nearly hear you.
Oh my goodness!
Where's your microphone?
It's on. I'm on an iPad.
Oh, okay. All right. Trying to think how we can make that any more sensitive, because at the moment you are really, really quiet.
I'm just looking for settings, audio.
No, we can't hear you, mate.
No.
Now,
can sort of hear that. No, bugger.
All right. Whilst Scott's getting his microphone sorted out,
I'll just drop you out while you have a bit of a play. Maybe you've got to go back and come back in again, mate. Sorry, Scott. Sorry, Tim.
You're right. There's been a couple of people ask questions in the chat. Will it help with this? Will it help with that? If you've got a pen or a piece of paper handy, a pen and a piece of paper handy, I want to give you the testimony with eczema, right? There's a website that you can go to, and it's X39freedom.net, and you'll go there and you'll see at the end of the top line, click on the More button, and then you'll see testimonies come up. Now, to get into that website, you will need a password. Okay, now here comes the password. It's all lowercase, all one word, and it's freedom found. Freedom found, lowercase, all one word. There is pages and pages and pages of testimonies from severe eczema to kids with autism to all sorts of stuff. And X39freedom.net, correct, Carl? Yep.
Yes.
And the password is freedom found. And so you'll see the little More tab. Click on that. You'll see testimonies. It will blow your mind. Now, sometimes it takes time for people to get a result. And, it's like I said, our body didn't get into that state overnight. But
That's right. And it goes to work on things that we may not necessarily know we need work on first. It goes to what the body demands it needs work on. What you
yeah,
might be feeling is a symptom of the problem, not the actual problem. So
yeah,
the patches will go to work on, and I know it sounds very sci-fi, uh, but I swear to you, for those people that these patches work for, and in my experience, it's better than 98% of people. These
yeah.
patches work in a very positive way, not a moderately positive or not just a, oh yeah, I felt a bit of a benefit kind of way. I mean in a seriously beneficial way.
Yeah,
Over
right.
98% of the people I've introduced to this product have just thrived since.
Yeah.
And now we've got Scott back again. Hopefully
All right, let's
our
go, Scott.
microphone issues will be sorted, and with a little luck, let's try.
Can you hear me now?
Just.
Oh no, just, but it's
Yeah,
yeah.
Scott, can you yell? Can you speak loud?
I assume the microphone's at the bottom. If I come around this way, is that any better?
It is a bit better, actually, yes.
Okay. So I can either be in the picture or you can hear me a bit.
Well, I guess we'd probably prefer to hear. So why don't you start telling us your story, and we'll shut up very quietly, and everybody can turn their telly up and listen.
Rightio. Well, when I started with the Lifewave, I heard Carl talking about it. I was actually more for a friend of mine who has fibromyalgia, but I thought I'd try them as well. And I had mild pain that I was in constantly. So pain wasn't really an issue, mild pain you just manage. And my pain actually got a little bit worse, still easily manageable, but it got a little bit worse. And I was tracking everything, trying to keep an eye on things. And then, after a month or so, you don't pay as much attention. But after a couple of months, I suddenly realized one day I had no pain. And when I thought about it, I didn't think I'd had any pain for about 2 weeks. So I think it took about 6 weeks for things to change for me.
And how big a change was it?
Well, the pain was the noticeable thing. So I was going from pain of about 3 to about 0. So not a huge change. But also, like in those first few weeks, I would get more tired. I would feel physically weak. It was like there was a drain on the system. But I had decided, like I've seen YouTube videos where people try things for a month, and I always think a month isn't long enough. So my aim was to try it for 3 months. And as luck would have it, I started to turn around after 2 months. And once I started to turn around, it did take a while. As I say, the pain went away, but to get more energy and more energy is probably the main thing. That just took longer, and it was very slow, and it wasn't like a straight line graph. It was like all of a sudden I'd have one day where I'd feel terrific the whole day and think, oh, wow, this is fantastic. But then the next day I might fall in a heap again. So it was an up and down sort of experience. But after a few months, I thought, I think I can work again, because I hadn't worked for over a decade. And in email, I put to you, Carl, my last job, I was working 2 hours, 3 times a week, and I had to give that up because I couldn't manage it anymore. That's what the struggle was like. And so I was, at the same time that I was starting to think this, I got my car insurance bill, which went up by $800 or something, and I was living pretty close to the line financially. And the only way I could manage it was I went to a little country town where, because I live in my van, where you can camp by the river for $5 a night. And so I stayed there for a while to recover from a car insurance bill. And as I said there, I didn't eat every day. But the patches, by then the patches were priority number one. You know, I knew that there'd been nothing out of everything that I'd tried over the years. There had been nothing that had given me an improvement like that. And then once I got over the bill, I went to Emerald in Queensland, and I was looking for work there. That was a struggle, I think, in part because my resume had over a 10-year hole in it where I hadn't had any work. Anyway, in the fullness of time, for a family reason, I came back to Victoria, and work opportunities are very different to where I am. So I ended up getting little bits of work to start with, and at one stage I had 3 part-time jobs, not even adding up to 20 hours a week, but I just wanted to get work. And I think, as anybody listening knows, once you've got jobs on your resume, then you've got a chance of getting better jobs. And that's basically what happened. I'm working, I think it's almost 4.5 days a week at the moment. That's a little bit more than I should probably do, but there's somebody left at work and all that. So hopefully it'll go down a little bit soon. But there's absolutely no way that I would be able to be doing what I'm doing now before I had the patches. And when I was like checking things out before I sent you the email, Carl, I was thinking that this December would be 3 years since I started. This December will only be 2 years since I started. So I've been surprised that it's happened that quickly for me. And as Tim mentioned before, some of these health issues that people have had for years and years and years and years, they're not going to be fixed overnight. And in my case, I can never thank you enough, Carl, for talking about it on your show. And I was in Adelaide, must be over a year ago now, and I got to meet Tim, and I'm thankful to Tim and Corinne for what they've done in promoting this. But I know that in the comments, like when I was watching your show, there'd be people saying, how can I afford it? From the making money side of things, that hasn't worked for me. I'm not a salesman's bootlace. But when I realised it had to be the priority, so I made decisions accordingly, And once you start improving, I'm getting my life back. Once you start improving, you start seeing results. You couldn't go any other direction.
That's such a powerful statement. I'm getting my life back, Scott. That's amazing.
Well, that's what it was like. I mean, for me to be healthy, or healthier, it's all on a different scale. I basically had to go out in the desert and where there's no pollution, all that sort of stuff, and I would improve. And I would improve a little. So for 10 years, I spent a lot of time in the desert to get minor improvements so that I still wasn't well enough to function normally in life. And now I'm in suburbs, kind of like outer suburbs of Melbourne, and I'm managing a life. Yeah.
Scott, I'm going to have to pull you up question-wise. We're finding you very, very difficult to hear, and I'm very disappointed about that. So you and I are going to get together at a different stage and have another chat, and I'm going to record that so that I can make sure that people truly do get the message that you're putting through. But I'm just so happy to hear your story. There are, like I say, I get a lot of stories from people saying, yes, I've got this minor ailment and the patches help me here or there or whatever. But to hear, words like you're using, that this is a life-changing thing, and you've had to sacrifice. There is, absolutely no doubt. Like you said, you'd eat every other day just so that you could make sure you had enough money for those patches, and that now seems to be paying off. And your ability to get out. You said in your email that you found the job you've always wanted. The job you love.
Yeah, I'm working with neurodiverse kids, helping them with maths and writing at the moment.
That's tremendous, mate. I can't just tell you how wonderful that makes me feel. And I'm sorry that we're having these audio issues. We will figure it out and do it a different way next time, maybe. But I'm going to have to let you go here because it's just proving very difficult for everybody listening along. So unfortunately, this time round, maybe it didn't work out quite so well. But folks, I hope you were able to turn your telly up. That's why Tim and I tried to stay quiet, because we were going to boom in over the top otherwise. But Scott, thanks for sending me that email. Thanks for being part of it. And those words of yours tonight, just truly amazing to hear the difference it's made in your life. I'm so pleased. And I'll be down in Victoria in the not too distant future. I hope we get a chance to catch up there, mate. All right. Good on you, mate. Excellent. Scotty T, isn't that just an amazing story, Tim?
Oh, look, Carl, what he said, like he's got his life back. You don't tell me you can put a bloody dollar sign on that. You just can't. That's a wellness from within, both physically, but mentally and emotionally too. It covers all that. And it just does. It makes you feel good to know that you played some small modicum of a role in helping another man get, a woman, whomever, get their life back. And we're seeing it all the time. Like we've changed a bit of direction in how we're presenting the Lifewave to people. We're doing a Zoom for the group. Anybody that's in your group, you're welcome to come onto our Zoom on this coming Wednesday night. There'll be an email go out. Carl will send the email out, I'm sure. And we've got a change of direction, and it's amazing because the last 11 people I've spoken to, they know of me, but I've never met them. And of those 11, 9 are registering.
Wow, okay.
Right. And the other side of it is, now think about this, Carl. Lifewave now have a program whereby you could become what they call a preferred customer plus. Right? You can become a preferred customer and just buy the product.
You just buy the product and
at wholesale price. But a preferred customer plus, think about this. They buy the product they pay $25 to become a preferred customer plus, and they can buy the product at wholesale, but they can introduce other people into Lifewave as customers. Now, they don't earn money, but the customers that they introduce, for everyone that buys a pack of product, they get $100 vouchers, right? So then what will happen is, it's every 3, I think. I forget which. Yeah, it's every 3 customers they've got. I think they get $100 voucher that they can put towards buying their own patches. They can't use the money. They just get the vouchers. And so therefore, as a preferred customer plus, you can get your products for free. And I just saw a lady pop one up there on the screen that said someone in the medical team suggested that she not wear the patches after surgery.
Yeah,
I missed that, but let
I
me.
think that was Greg actually. What the?
Oh, was it?
Greg Greg went to surgery recently. I think he had some hoses replaced in certain parts, and
Yeah.
they said no, don't use the X39s. But I think he got onto them when he got home again.
Yeah. Good.
But he reckons he's the healthiest he's ever been in 20 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would love to know the reasoning why the doctors and nurses would say, "Oh no, don't put that patch on."
Well, in the
what's your
US,
science?
in the US, Carl, there's something like 2,000 doctors from specialists down to GPs that are Lifewave distributors and promoting it hard. So, yeah, I don't know. Beats
Well,
me.
Vince has put up the email that we got from Scott,
Yep.
so you can see for yourselves just what his experience was. And I'm not in the business of pushing it down anybody's throat. I'm a bit like Scott. I'm a shit salesperson, always have been. Been very good at reading ads for things on sale, but yeah, not much beyond that. However, this is, I refer to it as a product now because I guess it is, but I am so happy to be behind this and so happy to be involved with it because, like I say, over 98% of the people I hand this product to receive a tangible physical benefit from it. It's not some pyramid marketing scheme where, you get to smell nice or your toilet sparkles or you've got, really good looking dishes. This gives you a physical benefit, be that pain relief, better sleep, mental acuity or the ability to multitask a lot more, better memory, all these different benefits that come, many of them to many people, but individually, so many itemized, singular, purely personal things that these patches benefit in so many ways. And that's why I have no problem talking about it and saying, yes, if you want to get into the business side of it, there is some money you can make out of it. As you've pointed out, Tim, there are people making a couple of $100 a month. There are people making $500-$700 a month. There are people making a couple of $1,000 a month. It just depends what you want to put into it, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, it does. And, we're at the bottom end of the scale.
Yeah.
We're not mega networkers or anything, but I was on a Zoom call the other night and a guy showed a back office where you can see what the earnings are. And this guy's been in the system for just on 3 years. Okay. Now, admittedly, he must have done a bloody lot more work than what I've done, but he's making $50,000 a week.
Bloody hell.
Right now, that's out of my league. I got no way. I can't do. I've never done that. Right, but that's the sort of money that the hard workers, the people that get after it, can make. And so to say to somebody, look, with a bit of effort over time, would an extra couple of grand a week be any good to you? It'd take the pressure off most people's lives, I'm bloody sure, But anyway, so look, from a couple of $100 a week up to whatever you want, it depends on how hard we work and all the rest of the stuff. Just like it,
yeah.
There's nothing for nothing. There never has been, Carl.
So that question that just got popped up on the screen there came from Baz. Sandy, who people would know and love from the chat here, from the Donkey Sanctuary. I don't think I'm sharing anything that isn't too unknown. Sandy does have some health issues revolving around things growing in her head that shouldn't be. Yep. Now, she's tried the patches, but developed a massive headache straight after she put the patches on, which was a pretty bizarre reaction, I've got to say. how do they work is what the question here is. It's a nanotechnology, isn't it, Tim? But there are videos that we can show you that will, explain how this works. It's more about creating copper peptide production in your own blood.
Yeah, that's right. So the patch does nothing. There's nothing on the patch that'll go into your body. It's what they call non-transdermal, so it can't go into your body. But what's in the patch is these nanocrystals that are designed to reflect the infrared light that comes out of your body back into your body in a particular light structure that upregulates copper peptide. Now, you can go onto PubMed and look at copper peptide, and there's thousands of pages on copper peptide. Now, the copper peptide activates all the dormant stem cells. Now, I'm not a doctor, but my immediate thought goes that if Sandy put the patch on and immediately got a pretty blinding headache, then what I'm looking at, I would imagine, would be that the stem cells went straight to work in the place where it's needed the most, and that's all I can look at. But the other side of this is that, okay, yeah, we need to drink a bit more water because it will flush you, it will detox you. But if somebody puts a patch on and they get an immediate reaction like that, take it off and wait an hour or two, put it back on again, take it off, wait an hour or two, put it back on again. You might only have it on for 5 or 10 minutes, but you're stimulating those stem cells. If that's an extreme reaction, very, very, very gradually introduce it. Don't leave it on. Just leave it on for 5 or 10 minutes, take it off, put it back on, take it off. Because the stem cells, you got to remember, a stem cell is a blank cell, Carl, and it wherever the body needs repair, it will turn into whatever part of the body, whether it's a brain cell, a heart cell, a liver cell, a skin cell, a bone cell, anything. That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, many of you folks will be very familiar with Guru and the large lump that he's had on his jaw. Now, I haven't spoken to him in recent weeks, but I have seen a lot of his videos, and that lump has gone down significantly. Now, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the X39s or not. I did send him and get him involved with X39. I think he was putting them on pretty religiously for the month's worth of patches that I sent him. And he's probably got a bit over 2 months because he bought a packet as well from memory. So he was doing a variety of other treatments, MMS too, at different times. But there's certainly been a huge reduction in that mass that was on his jaw. And I don't know if it's got anything to do with X39. I must ring him and ask. I don't know if you've had any conversation with him.
I haven't spoken to him. I walked him through the purchase process, and he bought his patches. And I spoke to him a few weeks afterwards, and he was saying that the pain had decreased dramatically, and he had noticed a difference in it. But like you said, he was also using other stuff as well. And sometimes it's difficult to tell when you're using multiple things. So, but I can guarantee you this certainly wouldn't have been doing him any damn harm. So
sadly, Sandy says that she's part of the 1 to 2% that it doesn't work for. So that's one of the really.
Well, Sandy, I'm sorry, sweetie. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take you out the back and give you an absolute good flogging for that, because it's
be
just
careful. She's got bodyguards in the form of donkeys, and a very large red-headed bloke.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, just a bit of fun. Yep.
Yeah. No. Well, there may well be other things in the range that might help, Sandy. There's the X49s, but I don't know.
No,
they're more for
the carcinine and stuff like that. Yeah. Hey, did you see that, Carl? Did you see that one where this guy? There's a big ski race in California. They get behind the speedboats, and they race from the coast out to Catalina Island and come back again.
Yes.
And this Australian guy won it when he was 22. He won it again when he was 40, and he's just won it again, and he's 50, and he's in Trevor's group, and he's using the X39s and the X49s, and you're skiing against 20-year-olds, and he won by 1.5 miles.
Wow.
At 50 years of age.
Wow. That's staggering. That's staggering.
So,
because that's a hell of a ski race. That's a hell of a ski race. Offshore skiing, like offshore powerboat racing, you pay your money, take your chances when you go over the swell.
Mate. And you could see them just the boats bouncing through the swell, and this bloke's hanging off a rope out the back. To hell with that.
They're brave blokes. And interestingly, I saw something. Was it yesterday? I saw something yesterday. Immediately thought of you. It was the tractor pulling championships in some Oklahoma or somewhere in America, and it was a huge event. There must have been 30,000 people gathered around this track in the middle of a cornfield somewhere, and watching some of the biggest behemoth and smallest tractors and other mini sort of pulling things doing tractor pull. And I thought, God, the H2 unit would be so good on some of those big diesel motors, giving them more torque. I think we've got to fund ourselves a trip to America during tractor pull season, and maybe we've got to build a tractor.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we got one here. Is there a difference between 39 and 49? Yes, the X39 is the stem cell patch, and the X49 is for sports performance and muscle building. So energy, sports performance, muscle building. Put the two together, and you'll be needing to wear red underpants on the outside because you'll turn into Superman.
Da, 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 da.
That
is literally what the reports are on the X49s. Like they are for those folks. And I know people who are fitness trainers and whatnot who use them, because it gives them that extra,
Oh, yeah. And it builds. Now, hey, here's something totally a little bit different.
Somebody just signed up. Thank you. I just got an email saying I've got a new Lifewave customer. Thank you.
Now, here's something. This is how smart. Now, David Schmidt, the guy who invented Lifewave, right? All the patches. This guy has got 200 patents to his name. Now, this is the company that we're involved with. Now, you've got to think, if you're going to be involved with a company, you want to be involved with a company that's going forward, that's future focused, that's pretty secure, all this sort of stuff. Well, this guy, he and his son, he wanted to build a aeroplane with his son. So they decided to build a drone. Now, not a little drone that you can hold in your hands. No. They built a drone, a monster drone, a unmanned aerial craft, right? Now, his problem was that the engines, every engine that was available to him was just not efficient enough for him, because a real engine loses so much of its efficiency through heat, right? Yeah. The exhaust gets over hot, the heads are hot, everything's boiling hot, and that's all waste efficiency, right? So he was trying to find the most efficient engine in the world that would work in this drone, and he couldn't find one. He worked it out. The reason engines get hot is because of the material the engine's made of. It just absorbs heat.
Yeah.
Do you know what he did? He invented a new metal that he built his engine out of, and that engine doesn't get any hotter than 115 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, God.
80
odd C.
Yeah, so it's, think about this, it's 73% efficient. A normal engine's about 22% efficient. This is 70-odd% efficient. And it'll run on kerosene, diesel, petrol, canola oil. It'll burn whatever you want to stuff down its neck. And he's built this massive drone factory in Scandinavia somewhere, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. He's now taken the engine and he's got that engine working as a power generating plant inside the headquarters of Lifewave. And it's going to be made somewhere probably 5 years down the track. It'll be made available through Lifewave distributors to be able to buy this power plant for your house that will produce enough electricity to run a 4-bedroom house, heating, cooling, everything electric. It'll still have enough electricity to, if you've got an electric car, if you want to charge your electric car, and it'll still have enough electricity if you want to sell it back into the grid, right?
Wow.
So, it's...
Put my hand up for being a distributor for that, please.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and don't forget, he invented the new water machine, right? So he's now got a patent on this new water. So his metal has never been seen on Earth before. He's got this water machine that the water is patented because it's a new type of water that is infused by light, that when you drink it, it is measurable to see the change in your physiology within 15 seconds.
Wow.
Now, when you think about, okay, we've got the X39 patch, we got all these wonderful products, but they're not sitting on that going, well, aren't we a clever bunch? They're coming up with all these other massive, innovative technologies that as distributors will get the license to market.
Well, I'm very interested in that because there's been all that talk about aligning water molecules and all that sort of stuff. I've got the wand that does that sort of thing. You heat your water up for a certain period of time, and it puts all the molecules in the right order, apparently. And look, I'll be honest, for a bloke who doesn't drink water, when I bother to do it, and I don't do it nearly enough, when I bother to do it, I do feel better for it. Yes. I like the water more. It tastes better.
Yeah, it does. It's a better water.
It's a better water. So, that's exciting stuff. That's exciting stuff, mate. People, if you want to learn more about the X39 patches and you don't necessarily want to sign up and do it as a business, as Tim said, you can just come on as a preferred customer and you'll pay what we do, same price, the wholesale price, but there's no obligation. Not that there's any obligation for you to do anything anyway, but you don't have to worry about going out and handing it off. But we found in so many cases, once you do try this, and if you're talking with friends, you'll just, be at bowls one day and say, I've been on these patches for a month, and I've got to say, my knees aren't cracking anymore, and I'm not aching as I'm getting back up off the ground after my last bowl. And the people at the table will be interested to learn out how you'd managed to do that because they're suffering the same ailments. And I use that as a great example because I had my first lawn bowls experience recently and wasn't wearing a patch. I'll be going back for another one, mate.
Now, Carl, if anybody wants any information on any of this, if they want to send us an email, we can, I get into trouble from Corinne, my beautiful wife, because my email system, I'm pretty good, but a few go through to the keeper. And so she suggested that send emails to her, not to Tim. and so I'll give you her email address if anybody has any queries on any of this stuff we've been talking about. But it's CM, C for cat, M for Mary, at Aussie, AUSSIE Aussie Broadband, aussiebb.com.au. Now, we're happy to send you any information on the water machine or the welcome center and all that sort of stuff. Oh, look at Vince. Look at that. Look at
He's
that.
pretty good,
VOF CM. How good is this? So,
yeah.
But if anybody wants to register for Lifewave, you go through Carl, right? That's fine. We're not trying to jump the line there at all. This is just an inquiry if you're looking for different information.
If you are, if you want to get some of these patches, by all means, I think Vince will put it back up again. Oh, maybe it's there right now. Just go to that address, that link that's going across the screen at the bottom there, lifewave.com/VOF/enrollments/packs, and then become a preferred customer, or you can sign up into it and be part of the business side if you like, and attend your first joint meeting with us all next Wednesday night.
Yeah, that'll be good fun. Look forward to seeing anybody and everybody there. We'll be open about 15 minutes beforehand for a chat and a yak and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be at South Australian 7:30, because now it's bloody daylight savings time this weekend. But it will be 7:30 South Australian time, and figure. Oh, there we go. Look at that. How good's that? Now
it's going to be wonderful. Again,
just as a totally something different to before I jump off. Everybody is out there. I've social media, all sorts of stuff. People are yelling and screaming and shaking their fist at all sorts of lunatic government scenarios. There's an old saying that we can only be governed by consent. And John Locke, who back in the 1600s was very instrumental in setting up the English Parliament and the constitutions and all that stuff. And John Locke said that it is only by the consent of the governed that the government can continue. And if they do not have the consent, the government must be stood down. Less than 30% of the population voted for Labor of any sort. They do not have the consent of the governed. But if you are waiting for them to stand themselves down, that'll never happen. There comes a time in the tide of human events which, when taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Here we are at the flood. The political class are off the trolleys. And we have a formal letter available, or we will have a formal letter available of withdrawal of consent that can be given to any member of parliament, state or federal. It can be handed into a police station, council, courthouse, anywhere at all. You can hand it into all of the above when we put that out there. And we are not asking. We're not asking them to stand down. We're telling them. And it will be because we have withdrawn our lawful consent to be governed by the criminals. It will get exciting.
It will get exciting. I couldn't agree more. And in the description, folks, you'll find the current petition of no confidence in the Albanese government running. It goes until the 22nd of October. Just under 75,000 signatures on it right now. Please go and add yours to it if you haven't already done so. Pardon me. On my Facebook page, you'll find a link to it there as well. Please share that far and wide. Get as many people as you know to sign it. I don't know, Tim, what number do you think we need to have Albanese take notice that the vast majority of Australians would stone him on the street if they were able to pick up a stone and had him walk past?
Oh, mate, they already have that. They know that. They know that's how we feel. That's why they're weaponizing words. That's why they're weaponizing speech against them. That's why they're trying to bring in this digital ID for under 16-year age kids. It's not about the under 16s. It's about you and I being censored on social media to shut us up. They know. They know. They and if they don't know, then they're dumber than bloody 4 short planks. But we must understand that it's not. I mean, Albanese's just the idiot's face we have to look at. It's the people in the back room of the Labor Party and the Liberal Party. It's the money machine behind them that we don't get to see their face. We don't get to know their name. However, in the annals of time, we will drag them out into the street and tar and feather the bloody lot of them, so to speak.
Well, I can tell you that the Page Research Centre, page.org.au, is the website if you want to go and have a look at it. I can tell you, folks, that it is a pretty interesting little website to go and have a look at. It's done a number of research and, the articles on the research that they are doing is quite staggering. In various different areas, but the one we will talk about is particularly this one, the big money that's going into killing fossil fuel action in this country. And we'll have Jared on hopefully next Thursday night if I can't arrange it before then. And he has been able, through his organization, to find where a lot of this big money is coming in from overseas, and our entire nation has been undermined by these people putting huge amounts of money into something called the Sunrise Project here in Australia, which is something we're going to talk a lot about next week in the lead up to this, I'm sure. Anyway, mate, I'll let you go back to the lovely goat-loving wife that you have, and I trust that she goes well. Enjoy your weekend. I'm sure you'll be doing karate and associated other duties.
Yes, indeed. So it'll be a great weekend. It's going to be 30-odd degrees down here, so I'll spend a fair bit of time in the garden, do a little bit of time on the computer. But I think it's a good weekend to be able to just kick back a little bit and take notice of the little things, the beautiful flowers and the sunsets around you. Don't be dismayed by all the talk of war and hate and all the rest of it. Take time to look at the small things, because in those small things is where we see the essence of God himself.
Take your shoes off your feet, take your socks off your feet, go for a walk in the grass or the sand, and appreciate what we have around us. And then go and buy some silver. That would be my bet. Good on you, mate. Love your work. Talk to you soon.
Good on you.
Tim Dwyer, legend of a man that he is. Before we shoot off tonight, I want to show you a couple of pictures that came across my desk. Now, nobody is suggesting that these are actually on Earth. They could be from very ancient times on Earth. They might be from somewhere that's not on Earth. Where did the pictures come from? Well, where all the pictures come from these days, somewhere off the interwebs. They don't look completely AI generated at this stage, but I thought I'd show them to you on a Friday night, just to give you a little bit of something to ponder. And the UK, of course, under a great deal of stress over the introduction of the Brit card, the digital ID system that you are going to be required to have if you are going to want a job in the UK. Well, I can tell you there is a lot of pushback in various different ways, and a lot of memes and a lot of very interesting pushback. But the Brits, as only the Brits can, have put out something that I feel is truly magnificent, and I thought I'd share it with you tonight.
Halt! This is a Brit card checkpoint. Present identification for labour allocation.
Here, I've got me card.
Brit card valid.
Proceed.
Next.
Please, I'm
relocation.
You know what happened last week, Rodders? They shut me down. Council fella turns up, flashes a badge, all because I wouldn't take one of them flaming Brit cards.
You got closed for that?
I said, cash only, pal. He says, no Brit card, no life.
You will recognise Palestine. Recognise it immediately or you will be exterminated.
All right, I recognise Palestine, I swear. Just don't hurt anyone.
Affirmation received. Identify yourself. Present Brit card for service.
Sorry? A Brit card? I've just got a bank card.
Brit card required. Proof of Britishness mandatory to procure. Sir, no Brit card to board this bus. Present it. Present it.
I
immediately.
haven't got one.
Look, I've got cash.
Can't you just take
Payment
that?
in currency is not accepted. You are not compliant.
Wait.
I'll get off all right. Just let me produce your Brit card.
My what?
You are consuming without authorization. Show the Brit card or face sanction.
I don't know what that is.
Product vaporization.
I could stay like this forever.
Pirated Brit card. Intrusion detected.
What the? Is that a Dalek?
Human, you have shared an opinion on social media. Present your Brit card.
My what? I don't have one.
Unacceptable. You will be vaporized. Now present your Brit card.
I don't have one, mate.
Non-compliance exterminate.
My chicken!
I just thought you might enjoy that. For old Doctor Who fans like me, maybe. It is crazy, but it doesn't make it any less real. And the shit is coming to Australia. I did have a couple of other things I was going to mention about that. Namely that here in Australia, it says that we should have a workaround for this. But for an existing license holder, qualified or authorized persons, you're going to require the following information for your ESO electrical licensing portal. I imagine this is so you can get a ticket to go and work on site somewhere. Must have a registered digital ID. Don't see a workaround on that, do you? It says here that under Section 79, it must have a workaround. Digital ID is voluntary. So don't allow yourself, as it says there, to be bullied into digital ID, folks. While it is here and being worked in surreptitiously in the background, don't allow yourself to be bullied into it. It is going to be the end of us all. And there are so many bad reasons, that this can never be allowed through. The damage it will do to this country and to the world is staggering. We will lose all our freedoms. 2.5 million have signed a petition against it in the UK. They haven't signed a petition like that here in Australia, sadly, I don't think. Because it's already been enacted. It went through in December last year. So they're working now quietly in the background for all of this. So actually over 4 million? Well, I haven't heard that. I think the British petition closed day before yesterday or yesterday. At any rate, there is a lot of pushback and they're going to keep pushing back against it. And we have to keep pushing back against it too. Do not submit, folks. Do not comply. And whatever you do this weekend, be it a long one or a short one for you, make sure you watch out for the dickheads on the road. Stay safe.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!